Good evening and welcome to Mo's channel, March 23rd, 2020. The virus is here, and the virus is gonna get you. So says Uncle Sam. But let's think about this for a second. It does not have to be as bad as they say it's going to be. Why do I say that? Well, the problem is not the virus. Because what does a virus do? It finds a host cell and uses that host cell to replicate. I discussed this in a prior video, so I'm not going to go into depth on that. The point I want to emphasize right now is how your body develops a viral infection. One virus in your body ain't gonna do shit to you. Not likely. It might. Because it just takes one virus to infect one cell, and that cell reproduces 10 viruses, and it bursts, and they go infect 10 more cells, and so on, exponential. Now, I go out there today, Monday, 8 a.m., and I intake one virus. At that point, I have one virus in my body. It could be any virus, coronavirus, influenza, whatever, name your fucking virus. I got one virus in my body at 8 a.m. today. By 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, I probably have 1 million viruses in my body. Now, your body is composed of cells. These cells specialize to form tissues. An aggregate of tissues then forms an organ. So let's assume that I intake that virus and it lodges in my liver. At the end of today, or by tomorrow morning, I got 1 million viruses in my liver without intaking any additional viruses. Just that one virus has reproduced to become 1 million viruses in my liver. At that point, it's probably insignificant. That infection is probably insignificant. So I don't feel anything. I don't show any symptoms. As a matter of fact, it might not be for a whole week, based on what they're saying. It might not be for a whole fucking week before I display any symptoms. Now, that virus, by that time, has taken over 1/10 of my liver. When I say taken over, all right, the job of a cell is to replicate itself, mitosis. One cell gives you 2 cells, gives you 4 cells, gives you 8 cells. As the cells in your body die, the new cells replace the dying cells. If the virus takes over the cell's reproduction ability, which is through genetic replication, such that the cell, instead of producing additional genes that will result in an identical cell being created, that cell now becomes a virus factory. Then what happens is that instead of the cells reproducing, the cells are reproducing viruses. Viruses are not geared to perform bodily functions. So we go back to the liver. Let's say I had 1 billion cells in my liver, and every day 1,000 cells die and 1,000 new cells are born. So at the end of the day, I always have the same number of cells in my liver, which enables my liver to perform its toxicity or toxic cleansing function in my body. That's what your liver does. It sucks all the toxins out of your body and stores them. Eventually, they're fed, I think it's bile, into the small intestine and excreted, or fed to the kidneys and you piss them out. If 10% of my liver is now viruses, then that means that the performance of my liver is degraded. Another week later now, 20-30% of my liver is viruses. That's when you start having organ failure, because now my liver cannot perform what it's supposed to do. As a result of that, my body cannot rid itself of toxins. When that happens, I now have a lot of toxins in my system, and hence I'm susceptible to death. That's how it works. So even though I get the virus today, I might not show any symptoms for a whole week because it's building up to critical mass. Now, even though I start showing symptoms in a week, I might not die for another 2 weeks because it will take that long for my bodily functions to be disrupted to a point where they don't perform. And if your body does not perform, if your lungs cannot take in oxygen, if your heart cannot pump blood, if your kidneys cannot function to filter out the urea, then you're dysfunctional. That's how the virus will kill you. So, here I am on Monday. I intake 1,000 viruses. They're generous. Here, motherfucker, we like you. 1,000 viruses in. I'll walk around for the whole week not even knowing that I'm infected. So Monday morning, after getting infected, I go outside, mingle with 10 people. Since I'm a gracious person, here, man, have a virus, have a virus, have a virus. They don't know I'm infected. I don't know I'm infected. Each of those 10 people, that same day, goes out and mingles with another 10 people. Each of those other 10 people then go out and mingle with another 10 people. So I infected 10, they infected 100, they infected 1,000. In one day, I've done a hell of a job. I have done a hell of a motherfucking job, and I should be goddamn proud of myself. Because in one day, I, with doing nothing more than breathing, have infected 1,000 people. The next day, those 1,000 people go infect 1,000,000 people. The next day, those 1,000,000 people go infect 10 million people. By the time I start showing symptoms, I have infected about 10 million people. Do you understand now, you stupid motherfuckers? Does it now get through your fucking heads? None of us knows if we have that virus. And you might have that virus and it might just pass through you. And you'll never know you had it. You could go to the doctors, they could check you, unless they check for antigens. But if there are no antigens in your bloodstream, then no one will ever know you had the virus. And you could be responsible for infecting 1 million people, and you never got sick, you never got symptoms, but thanks to you, 1 million people got infected, and 500,000 of those million got symptoms, and of that 500,000, 10,000 died. So your stupid, dumb shit self, unknowing, are now responsible for the death of 10,000 people. Do you stupid motherfuckers start to understand this? Do you start to understand this? When the government tells you, keep 6 feet from each other, they're not saying that because they're bored and they just want to make some shit up. Or we'll tell people to keep 6 feet from each other. No, motherfucker. Because it has been shown that the majority of those that were infected got it from someone else through the air because they were in close contact. They were within the other person's personal space. And isn't it common sense that you maintain personal space with other people? Why do you dumb shit motherfuckers have this crazy need to bunch up on each other? Does it make you feel like you're a human being if you're all up on someone else? Does it make you feel that you're special? Does it make you feel that you're wanted, that you're accepted? You are such insecure, lonely, dumb shit people. That's what the problem is. The problem is not the virus. The problem is the dumb shit Americans who are so scared to stand alone. They just want to buddy up with someone. I'm lonely. I'm lonely. Please, can you be my friend? Can I stand next to you? Can I share some air with you? You dumb fucks. When the government said keep 6 feet away, what the government was hoping, if the government had intelligent citizens, what the government was hoping is that if we could keep people distance from each other, then let's suppose in America we got 1 million people with the virus. Right now, 1 million people with the virus. But everyone stays 6 feet away. That vastly reduces the probability of those 1 million people spreading the virus. If you have 1 million people with the virus and they spread it to nobody else, then those 1 million people, let's say 800,000 of them, get sick and they recover. Once they recover, it is highly unlikely they will get that virus again. Because what happens is, when your body sees that, your T cells, your white blood cells, when they see an enemy invader, they converge on that location to destroy that enemy invader. When they do that, they deposit, that might not be the right term, but they deposit antigens. And the antigens have the signature of that virus, the DNA signature, RNA signature, such that when it shows up again, they know, that's how we got that motherfucker last time. Bam! That's why when you get vaccinated for the flu, they are injecting the flu into your body with the intention that your body is going to fight that flu and develop antigens. So when you go out there and that virus, influenza, comes back into you, your body already knows how to crush it. So you're good. So these million people have the virus. They don't spread it to anyone. 2-3 weeks later, I hate to say this, some of them will be dead. The majority would have recovered. By recovering, they no longer have the virus in them. Sad to say, by dying, they no longer have the virus in them either. What does that mean? I don't have the virus in me. I can't spread it to you. Problem solved. That's simple. It's not complex. It's that simple. However, when we do not maintain that distance between us, and you have 1 million people who have that virus, and they bunch up, and they spread it, before you know it, the whole fucking nation has a virus. That is what the government is trying to avoid. That is what the government has been trying to avoid. But you stupid fucking shit motherfuckers are too dumb to understand things like that. If it was a video game, oh, you got it. If it was Facebook, you got it. If it was Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, you got it. Texting, you got it. Wasting time, hanging out, bullshitting, you got it. But using your minds, you stupid motherfuckers cannot use your minds. This is what social media and video games has done to you. You've become dumb as fucking shit. Just today, in the grocery store, I had to tell 3 people, back off of me. 3 people that for some fucking reason feel I gotta stand right next to you in the checkout aisle. Back off of me, you dumb fuck. 3 times in one day. And they looked at me like I offended them. Suppose I had the virus and I got you sick. Would you not then appreciate me telling you to back the fuck off? What if you have the virus? I don't want to get sick. I was watching on TV, these little motherfuckers on the beach in Florida. If I go to that beach, a crowded beach, and I stand there for 10 minutes and I speak to 4 people, and I give them the virus, by the end of the fucking day, those 4 people would have infected everybody on that fucking beach. It's that simple, you dumb fucks. It is that goddamn simple. See, all too often in our society, and this is a problem with freedoms. This is a problem with freedoms because God said, I give you free will. If I had God's phone number, I'd call him up and tell him, look, man, You gave them free will, but no intelligence. I used to smoke cigarettes. I wasn't that heavy a smoker. Probably a pack would last maybe 3-4 days. That's still 5-6 cigarettes a day. On the pack of cigarettes, it tells you, Surgeon General's warning, cigarettes are not good for your health. I thought about it. I seen people who had lung cancer, people who had to speak out of their throats. And I said, you know what? I don't want that shit for me. So I quit smoking cigarettes. Yet, you have people that were smoking, and they got lung cancer, and they get mad at the government, and they get mad at tobacco companies because you gave me lung cancer. No, motherfucker. You gave yourself lung cancer. You gave yourself lung cancer. When a little girl goes out there, spreads her legs, smash it, she gets pregnant. Now she's, oh. But who got pregnant? Who spread their legs? 2000. The market fell because everyone wanted to be a day trader. Didn't know what the fuck they were doing. Lost all their money. And I want to go cry to the SEC. Oh, I lost my money. Well, motherfucker, nobody told you to day trade. See, I'm guilty of it too. And I need to be better about that. It's called responsibility. It's called assessing the situation and determining the best course of action. And now we have responsibility for our fucking lives. We know there's a situation out there, and we know there's things we could do to remedy that situation individually. Yet, we're so stupid, unless a policeman comes along and says, hey, stay 6 feet from him, bunch up. You got old people who have been told they're vulnerable. It's cold outside. Being cold increases your probability of getting sick. You get that virus in you, and you get this environment, you have a very high likelihood of getting sick. And you're an old person, and you're outside. You're sick. And they've told you this shit could kill you, and you're still outside. So what are your kids, grandkids gonna do when you die? They're gonna sue the government because you are so fucking stupid. Whereas you could have stayed indoors and protected yourself, you went out there and you got sick. Whose fault is it? I want to be mad at the government, but I cannot. They're doing their job. They're trying to do their fucking job. We are making it harder for the government to do their fucking job because we're being very stupid. Please, people, use your fucking minds. You want this lockdown to end? Maintain distance from others. You're not gonna fucking die. I guarantee you. If you're not bunched up, you're not gonna die. I know you're insecure little pieces of shit, but you're not gonna die. Some of you may enjoy sitting at home all day playing video games, being on Facebook, whatever. I don't. I have a life. I do things. All right? I do things. There are others out there that do things, and they do not like this lockdown shit because it is hindering our ability to make progress. We're not the kinds that want handouts. We make our own way, and we can't do that now. So all you lazy shit motherfuckers, fuck you. All you dumb shit motherfuckers, fuck you. Start doing the right thing, god damn it. Scare tactics. Scare tactics. There is so much fear-mongering out there right now. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It seems that the media loves it when something fucked up happens, and it makes sense. If everything was going normal, what are they going to report on? Unless they make up some stories. But what are they going to report on? If they got nothing to report on, who's going to tune in? If no one tunes in, how much advertising are they going to sell? So it is in the media's interest that there be some kind of problem, manufactured or real. And I am not saying this virus is manufactured. It's real. And it's fucking people up. So I'm not saying that at all. But all you hear about, 500,000 cases worldwide, 5,000 people died worldwide. How many recovered? If there were 5,000 cases and 5,000 died, I'd assume 495,000 recovered. I don't know, because no one is saying that. It's going to get worse, and the curve is going to go up, and there are going to be waves and waves. Based on what? All these claims that you're making, based on what? See, there are several emotions in the human arsenal that are very powerful. Fear, jealousy, and greed. I don't really call greed an emotion, so I'll say fear and jealousy. If you scare someone enough, you paralyze them into a state of inaction. If you scare someone enough, they can't think clearly. That's why they say consumed by fear, because fear takes over you. And what you could have seen as an opportunity, you see it as danger when it's not. Imagine you're somewhere and the lion comes out of nowhere. It's like, damn, I got dinner, motherfucker. Damn, I got dinner. And you look at that motherfucker. and you get consumed by fear. And let's assume you're in a pit and the lion is in that pit. Right behind you is a ladder. There's enough space between you and that lion that you could jump on that ladder and get the fuck out before you become dinner. But when fear consumes you, you don't even see that ladder. And the lion has a hell of a meal, thanks to the fear. The media is feeding non-stop fear. Please fucking stop it, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC. All you're fucking doing is scaring the shit out of people without presenting all the facts. You're presenting only a one-sided view of the situation. Look at New York. Let's see some actual investigative journalism here. Let's see someone go out there and do an analysis of all the people that got infected. What is the demographic breakdown? Of all the people that recovered, how many of them recovered fully? How long did it take for them to recover? What was the protocol that was administered to bring about their recovery? And what's the demographics? If you look at areas like New York, which is a crowded city, a bunch of people bunched together, hence the probability of spread is much higher, then you got to ask yourself, what other congested cities are out there in the world? Look at Tokyo. That's a crowded city. I've been there. Look at Sao Paulo, Brazil. That's a crowded city. I've been there. What is the situation in those cities? Mexico City is another crowded city. Toronto's kind of spread out, so I wouldn't call it congested. It's spread out. The same with LA, the same with Atlanta. They have high populations, but they spread out. Chicago is kind of congested. So one of you investigative journalists, go around the world, do comparisons. What's different about Italy and Denmark? And what is the rate of infection? What is different about New York and LA and Seattle? Why do we have high infection rates here and not here? Because when you start to put this information out, yes, it's a bad situation, but it's not the end of the fucking world. And as long as you keep fear mongering, it will make the situation worse. It will not improve the situation. And at some point in time, Americans are going to become so consumed by fear that they will either revolt or they will just, just crawl under their beds and hide for the rest of their fucking lives. And the country will never fucking recover. Ever. You need to stop that shit. State the facts. Give both sides of the equation. Because this fear mongering is going to take us nowhere. Government. I applaud your response, government. I never liked government. Government always gave me tickets, always threw me in jail, always made me pay taxes. I couldn't be a criminal because of government. Well, I couldn't be as good a criminal as I should have been. You've done well, government. You've stood up, stood for the people, done the right thing. I can't fault you, government. I cannot fault you. Some of your experts that are advising you are fools. I'll say that again. Some of your experts that are advising you are fools because they're not considering all possible options. They just see one thing and their mind gets stuck on one thing. And I understand. I understand. They're consumed by fear. Not so much the fear that consumes the average American based on the media, but the fear of failure. They sit there and say, wow, what if I fuck up? Or if I do what I think is right and 20 million Americans die? Would you like that on your record? That's the director of the National Institutes of Health who oversaw the death of 10 million Americans. That's a president of the U.S. who, as president, 10 million Americans died. That's a senator who, as senator, 10 million Americans died. That's why they're overreacting. They're not thinking things through. They're not considering the consequences. They're not considering the options available to them. And it's now become a herd panic mentality. And that's a problem. That's a problem. We need alternate viewpoints presented to Trump and whoever, the decision makers. They need alternate viewpoints. They need to weigh scenarios so they can make the best decision. If you peel away the fear, this shit can be managed without destroying the world. It is not the end of the world. There's so much misinformation. There's so much misunderstanding out there. So much. Just today, I was reading an article on CNN, and it said the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard. Well, humans are not immune to the virus. I'll tell you what. Go to East Africa or go to South Asia and get bit by a mosquito and get malaria. You're not immune to malaria. You're not immune to anything until you get it. Chickenpox, measles, polio, the cold, the flu, the cough. You are not immune to any of that shit until you get it. But does the cold kill you? Does chickenpox kill you? Does measles kill you? Yes, in some instances, it can kill you. But your body, your white blood cells, your T cells, react to that invasion. And by reacting to that invasion, they develop antigens. And then it is at that point that you become immune. So CNN, get your goddamn facts right. Get your goddamn facts right. Listen, it ain't the end of the world. It's a bad situation. I won't lie. It's a fucked up situation. I won't lie. But we don't know all that we need to know because it is being filtered. We can manage this and still maintain some sense, some semblance of normality. Here's my proposal. Number one, government, quarantine all those people who are highly susceptible. What does that mean? We know the old and ill have a high probability of succumbing to this shit. Keep them home. If they work, make arrangements. Protect them. Most people hate old people. I don't hate old people. That's where wisdom comes from. They've seen shit I haven't seen. They've done shit I haven't done. I talk to them. I learn from them. I grow from them. I don't want all the old people dead. I need the old people around. Protect them. Children. I've seen these stupid fucking parents bringing their children out. That's what you do, government. You see an adult walking around with their kids, arrest that adult. Arrest that fucking adult. Because that adult is so fucking stupid, they don't care about the health of their child. Arrest that fucking adult. Throw them in jail for 3 days so they could think about the value of their child. Anyone under the age of 18 should be quarantined. Because apparently these dumb parents lied to their dumb kids and told their dumb kids you're special when their dumb kids ain't shit. And now we can see just how fucking dumb these kids are. That they don't understand, maintain distance. And this is what's going to happen. All the adults with sense will maintain distance, and all the teenagers will bunch up. So now that virus will concentrate in the teenagers, and then when we think it's all done, the teenagers will come out and they will spread it out. And there you have your second wave. Curfew on all teenagers. They don't come out the fucking house. Police catch them out the house, arrest them. Arrest them. For the rest of us, use your fucking brain. Help government help you. Maintain that distance. Maintain hygiene. If you're coming down an escalator, don't touch the handrails. If you're walking upstairs, don't touch the handrails. If you open a door, use your elbow. Common sense, you dumb fucks. Common goddamn sense. Help the government help you. The economy, government. The economy. I don't want to live in a socialist state. I don't want to receive a paycheck from the government every month. I have 2 eyes. I have 2 ears. I have 2 legs that work, 2 hands that work. Why the fuck can't I go out there and earn my own living? Fuck the lazy motherfuckers. Fuck them. Fuck them. How long are you going to hand out checks, government, when all the businesses have closed down? How long are you going to hand out checks? How long are you going to bail out the airlines, the hotels, the restaurants? You might as well nationalize them. And then once you've nationalized them, nationalize the railroads and the factories and the law firms and the banks. Nationalize everything. And then let's be a fucking socialist nation. That's where it's going. That's where it's fucking going. $1 trillion, $2 trillion. The Fed just announced the other day it will buy an unlimited amount of assets. Unlimited amount. What does that mean? That means if this goes on till December, our $20 trillion debt will probably be $35 trillion. We will never pay that back. And not only will our debt be $35 trillion, we will be in a goddamn depression. So you have all this debt, interest at 0%. The Fed has no room to move. We're fucked. There's ways. There's ways you can open the economy back up. Get people working again and avoid a pandemic. There's ways you could do it. As I mentioned, social distancing. Number 1, enforce it. Find a way to enforce it. Find a way to make dumb motherfuckers realize to keep away from other people. Number 2, reduce capacity. If you have office buildings and you typically fit 1 person every 2 square feet, now fit 1 person every 6 square feet. If a business has to conduct meetings, audio conference. No need for the face-to-face. If you need the face-to-face, video conference. If you're conducting sales deals, do it over the phone or by video. So that will handle the service sector, the office workers. And what the companies could do is, all right, this week, half of you come into the office. Half of you work from home. Next week, half of you in the office and the other half from home. Now we're starting to move. Restaurants, gathering places. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. And really, it'll come down to mandates from the government. Usually when you go to a building, a vicinity, the fire marshal designates the maximum holding capacity of that building. The fire marshal should go back and reduce that capacity by 70%. Then the restaurant has a choice to decide, do I want to operate at 30% capacity and increase my hours to compensate and recoup that lost capacity, or do I want to not operate? You could assist these restaurants by supporting them. So if I'm a restaurant and if I'm operating at 100% capacity, and I could show through my tax filings for the past 2-3 years that I expect to make $10,000 a night at 100% capacity, if I'm operating at 30% capacity but increase my hours, then I can make maybe $6,000 a night, a day. So meet me halfway, government. Give me $2,000. So now, instead of making $10,000, I'm making $8,000. And there's ways you could do that. Pause taxation. I've heard you talk about it. Payroll taxes, revenue taxes, sales taxes. Collect those, but then give them back to that business. Or just don't collect them, so the business keeps that money. Bars, clubs, you probably have to close those, because for one thing, people in bars are going to get drunk, and when they get drunk, they're not going to give a fuck about social distancing, and if someone tries to enforce it, they're going to fight, and it's just going to be a fucking mess. So bars, clubs, keep them closed. Hotels, shut off all the lobbies, all the bars. Disinfect them, keep them clean. It might take a longer time for that turnaround, but the hotel is still in business, and they won't need a bailout. Airlines, as I mentioned, reduce capacity by about 60%. And then let the airline decide, do I still want to fly or not? But you've given them the opportunity to stay in business. Blue collar work. Let's talk about an assembly plant. You have parts coming down a conveyor, someone's adding, someone's taking off. Increase the distance between the workers. If one worker was standing here and another one was standing here, well, now one worker is standing here and another one is standing there. You might reconfigure the work. So if one person just put this part on, and then the person over here put this part on, but now this person over here is down there, then this one person puts this part and this part and this part, and then it moves down. So you're doing more with less people, but you still have people working. Now, if I had 100 people in this assembly line, and I only have 40 people, I have 60 people that are idle. There's other work they could do. Even if it means going from 8-hour shifts to 6-hour shifts, so everyone can work, do that. And once again, help them out. So instead of giving a company 20 million, now you're only giving them 3 million. Distribution centers, warehouses. Separate people. Don't have people bunched up. Separate people. If I have a staging area where I go out there and grab my product and I bring it to the staging area and then wrap it or whatever, prepare it for shipment, only one person at that staging area at a time. And if you're not preparing your product for shipment, you have to stay away until they're done. Then you come in. Like I said, it might slow things down. It might impact productivity, which will impact profitability. But I'd rather make $10,000 in profit as opposed to $15,000, which I made before, and definitely better than zero. Gems. Two things gems can do. When the weather gets better, move a certain aspect of your operation outdoors. So if you're holding classes, and I know women go to gym to do their little classes, aerobics, whatever fucking shit that women do, I don't know. I ain't no woman. I got a dick, not a pussy. Those classes are packed because it's a small, confined space. Take those 20 women, take them outdoors, space between them, and hold your class. In the gym itself, space equipment, at least 6 feet apart. Remove some of the equipment. So if I have 200 treadmills in the gym, take 50 of those out and then move the equipment around to where that other equipment was. So now there's more space between people as they're working out. I could go on and on. It's a matter of common sense. You don't have to shut down the fucking economy. You could slow it down. Slow it down. Don't shut it down. People talking about 20% unemployment. You can't get a job anywhere because you can't even interview for the fucking job. And companies have no fucking idea what is coming down the road. So they don't want to hire because they don't even know what the fuck's going to happen. So what you do, government, maintain this trajectory. And you're going to see 30-40% unemployment by June. I goddamn fucking guarantee that. You're going to see 30-40% unemployment by June. Do you want that? Do you, Mr. Trump, want to be the president that presided over an economy with 40% unemployment? Is that something you want on your record? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm not an expert. I don't know everything. But I think, and I question, and I observe. We can survive this without destroying ourselves. if you're talking about the markets, and the market's tanking and tanking and tanking and tanking, you know why the markets are tanking? Because all they hear is the world is ending. That's all they hear. Two things drive Wall Street: greed and fear. Greed drives the market up. Fear drives the market down. Injecting $5 trillion into the economy, into the Fed, by the Treasury, is not going to calm the markets. What the markets want to know, is, are we going to come out of this? And how are we going to come out of this? And when are we going to come out of this? I guarantee you, if government came out tomorrow and said, we've done a thorough analysis of all the facts, run different scenarios and weigh them, and based on that, this is our strategy going forward. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the impact it's going to have. This is how it's going to maintain the economy. So we will be at 50% capacity for 2 months. But then after that, we should move up to 70%. And by September, we should be back at 100% capacity. If government made that pronouncement tomorrow, you would see the stock market shoot up by 1,500 to 2,000 points in one fucking day. I guarantee that shit. Because now the traders and investors, now they know, okay, it's going to be tight for a little bit, but they got a plan, and they're rolling it out, and they're going to open shit up at this level, and then move it up, and soon we'll be back to good. All this market falling off a cliff will end right then and there. They want to see a plan, not this, quarantine. That's no plan, motherfucker. Oh, how long is the quarantine? Oh, we don't know. Oh, we're waiting for a vaccine. 18 months from now, we have vaccine. There's things you could do right the fuck now before that vaccine gets here. That's what the market wants to hear. Give them a strategy. Give them a plan. Give them projections. And show them how you're going to get there from here. And you will see the market flip in one day. And as long as you keep moving on that trajectory, building things up, when they see the economy open at 50%, bam. And things going well and you're managing this shit and people ain't dropping like flies, bam, bam, bam. The economy at 75%, bam, bam, bam. At 100%, pew. Pew. That's what they want. I want to close off with an observation. I'm not so much a conspiracy theorist, but a person that questions things, a skeptic. And whenever something happens, you have to ask yourself, who benefits from this? It's a question that I'm still trying to understand about terrorism. Because I'm really trying to understand who benefits from terrorism. And right now I think Saudi Arabia, Israel, Kuwait benefit from it. But that's another subject for another day. We had global warming. The earth is getting hotter. And everyone's going to die. And the sea levels are going to rise. And the glaciers are going to melt. Blah, blah. To an extent, I question global warming. But the point here is, their solution for global warming was to scale back civilization. I didn't understand it. No more factories, no more electricity. Why the fuck I want to go back to living in the Stone Age? My name ain't Fred Flintstone. But Trump trumps a lot of things. You got the right name, motherfucker. Whoever gave your grandfather that last name knew what the fuck he was doing, because you trump a lot of fucking shit. So Trump came along and he trumped their plans. No more Paris Climate Accords, blah, 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 blah. Like I said, I'm on the fence when it comes to global warming. I'm not a denier. I'm not a believer. I need to educate myself on climatology. I need to educate myself on astrophysics, and then I can make an informed decision. But just conspiracy way out thinking out there. If I wanted to implement a socialist system like we're going into, a pandemic is a hell of a way to do it. A hell of a way. How do you convince people to lock themselves up in their homes? The virus is gonna get you. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong. Like I said, I applaud government. But I'm just being sinister. Let me just be sinister for a second, all right? The virus is gonna get you. The virus is gonna get you. The virus is gonna get you. Run and hide, and lock yourself in your home and look out the window. Where's the virus? Where's the virus? Oh, and go get a lot of shit paper because you're gonna be shitting all day. Because you're so fucking scared, you're gonna be shitting all day because the virus. Then what comes next? You wipe out half the fucking economy. And the businesses that survive are funded by the government, so essentially they're owned by the government. Now you've eliminated private enterprise. What is capitalism? It's about private enterprise. That is the one singular foundation for capitalism. Private enterprise, private property, not public property, not public enterprise. Are you with me? So if I was a sinister motherfucker and I wanted to impose socialism where the government controls every facet of your life, when you can go out of your house, when you could go to work, where you could go to work, what you can eat, because that's what's going to happen when the grocery stores run out of shit. Then you're going to go there and say, oh, okay, here's your government card. You get 2 pounds of beef today. But I'm out of beef. Oh, 2 pounds. You got to wait till next week for more. You get 1 gallon of milk today. You get 3 eggs today. Oh, you sick? But you're retired. You're 90 years old. You're about to die. Why are we going to waste government money on you? Look, this is what we do, man. We'll put you in this place where you could just die. Just die. I urge you, Americans, to educate yourselves on socialism. I urge you to educate yourself on dictatorship. Go and do historical research and understand the living conditions in Russia, in Poland, and East Berlin, East Germany, under the USSR. It's not an environment you want to live in, but it's where we're fucking going. Population control? When the government owns everything and runs everything, and you have this Covd19 virus, and you have 30 million people infected with symptoms, 10 million of them are dying, and the government says we only have so much medicine. Who will live? Who will die? Are you with me? Personally, I've changed my mind about Trump. I thought he was a wannabe king. This was his chance. This was his chance. And he doesn't seem to be interested in making himself king. It seems to me I don't like Republicans because they're a bunch of old, racist white people. But it seems to me that it is the Democrats that are pushing hardest to eliminate the rights of Americans. It seems to me that it is the Democrats that want to take away the freedoms of Americans. It seems to me that it is the Democrats who want to destroy the economy of America. I'm just saying what I'm seeing. I'm just fucking saying what I'm seeing. I've spoken a lot because I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I ain't been to the gym in a week. And it's cold outside, so I can't go train outside. And I might not even want to go train outside, because if I go in a basketball court and I'm training, some stupid motherfucker might come there. Now they're exposing me to the fucking virus. If I go to the soccer field, the football field, and I'm training, some stupid motherfucker might come there. So when the weather gets good, I'm going to have to find some hidden places to go train, so I don't attract a bunch of these dumb fucking worthless shit lazy motherfuckers. When this shit is over, if the average weight, or let's say if the average body fat percentage of an American before this was, say, 15%. When this shit is over, the average body fat of Americans is going to be 30%. When this shit is over, you're going to have a lot of fat Americans, a lot of obese Americans, and a lot of very unhealthy Americans. I've been to jail. I don't like being locked down. I don't like being confined. That's why I'm pissed. Please, people. At this point in time, the government is trying to do the right thing. At this point in time, the government is trying to keep your dumb ass alive. Use some sense. Use some sense. You're not a baby, and the government is not your mommy. The government is there to serve you, but they can only serve you if you think. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to stimulate dialogue around this. I want people to start thinking, to start questioning. I want to see the experts and the government people, I want to see them start proposing alternative solutions. Lockdown is not the solution. There are alternatives out there. Explore them. We'll get over this. How long? Depends on us. Thank you. God bless. And good fucking night, bitches.